Good morning, Karen. How are you?
Well, I'm as good as could be expected, I guess, huh?
Good. Good. That's good to hear. Good to hear. I know it's been a while since I've been to one of these meetings, but
It has
last time I saw
been.
you, I think you still had your neck thing on, so it's good to see that's all gone.
Oh, yeah. I like that too, that it's gone. Oh.
Hi, Andrew. I don't know you personally, but we are Facebook friends, and I think you dated an ex-girlfriend of mine, or not an ex-girlfriend, a girlfriend of mine who's an ex-girlfriend now of yours.
Good morning.
Yeah. That was quite a few years ago. Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
That's my friend Sharaine and my friend Lisa. Karen.
Hi, Lisa. Have we seen Lisa before? I think so.
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Karen and Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're just waiting for Mickey.
Jamie, and did you bring your sister on once? With the soap products?
No, that was my cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
Good. She's good. Her work schedule just doesn't allow for her to come on, but she's doing pretty good.
Good. Say hi.
I will, for sure.
I'm right in the middle of my meeting though. If you signed up and you got a receipt, the link is at the bottom. Okay. Can you look? Okay.
You can see sunlight everywhere. It looks so nice.
Well, I'll try and get it for you. Okay.
Better than the torrential rain that we just had here.
Really?
Yeah, it was raining so bad here, so it's good to see some sunlight.
Yeah, it was weird and dark yesterday. Like there was no sun at all.
Wow. It looks like a perfect day here. Coming up.
We'll hit 80, but I think we're getting rain this evening, but that's okay. I'll take 80 with some showers.
I'll take 80. Are you giving it away?
Yeah, you can ship like 10 of those degrees up here to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, it's been chilly. It's been cold.
We have a few to spare this week.
Sorry, I don't have such a pretty view this week. I'm getting
Yeah, you make us. When you were on vacation, I was so jealous.
I'm like celebrating Cinco de Mayo, so I'm getting food ready for happy hour Cinco de Mayo. And
where's it at that you're doing? Where's it at?
My house.
Oh, okay. Not a customer. You're the customer. Or your host. You're the host.
Yep, I'm hosting.
Yeah.
That's okay. I look like I'm at a radio studio.
It does. It really does. I'm like, I can't wait to meet her.
I'll tell you more about me in a minute.
I like that setup. I'm a little jealous with the headphones.
And what's that microphone?
Yep. So I have a mic here. I have a couple mics. I run a few podcasts, so I like to just try out different mics when I'm on calls just to see how the audio flows.
Wow.
What are your podcasts?
So my primary one is called Millennial Moguls on the Move. And so it just kind of talks about my journey of leaving corporate America, starting my own company. And I bring a lot of friends on who have done the same, or they're considering leaving corporate America just to try to help build their platform and businesses as well.
I love podcasts.
Yeah, I'll put the link in here for you guys if you want to check it out.
Yep. I was gonna say in the chat, Lisa and Sharaine, put all your business links and stuff
in the chat. Yep.
In the chat.
I'll do it now. Thank you.
Oops.
Oh. Ta-da!
That worked. Hey, everybody. We were having some people just have trauma just getting into class.
Well, Fatoon isn't really registered. She,
Oh, you know what? She registered the last second. It just came through.
oh, okay.
Platoon, I haven't seen her in a year.
I know.
You're
She's
gonna
not-
see her in a second here.
Yes. So I gave her, yes. So that's, okay. Thank you. All right. Get here is what I'm going to say her. Get here. We miss you. Fatoon is actually the star of the show today. How is everybody?
Good. Wow.
Donna's coming up.
Oh, good. Good. Okay, well, I'm going to start with us because we have such a big topic today. And we have some new people. Sharaine, hello, welcome.
Hi.
Alice, glad to see you again.
Yes,
Lisa,
thank you.
you are new. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And who else? Oh, Donna's hiding in there. Okay, good.
There's Donna.
All right. So we have a chat box. If you guys know how to do the chat box. Andrew, we haven't seen you in a year either. Hello.
That's been a minute. Yeah. Yeah.
A dang minute.
Mhm.
Okay, so please put your information in the chat box so that people can get a hold of you. If you have a social media handle or something that is important to you, put it in there. If you have a class that you're sharing with people or something that you want them to know, this is kind of where it should go. So, we love to kind of help everybody grow. So this is kind of where that Instagram handle is super helpful. And then for those of you who signed up on the NW2, it does have its own Facebook page and you can post it there too. So,
Yep.
Karen, anything before I just start launching? Any news we should know?
Well, Fatoon is here somewhere.
Oh, good.
Not video.
Good.
Sharaine and
Video. Okay.
maybe Sharaine and Lisa are my friends I invited. I
Oh,
do
good.
business with both of them.
Well, we're glad you're here. Okay, so Andrew, give us the quick 1 minute. Who are you? Whatever. We're just going to go fast today.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Andrew Stoff. I'm a business financial planner, work with super small to medium-sized businesses. And my big thing is do more than just like investments, insurance. In fact, I do a lot of really advanced tax strategy planning, debt management planning, business entity planning. So like, should you be an LLC? Should you be an S Corp? Should you be a C Corp? Everything like that. And yeah, and it's really good. Just love working with business owners. And because it seems like every day we either got more free money coming or taxes are changing or something. So it's pretty exciting.
And Andrew, you're having your best year.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's why I haven't been around, unfortunately, for a while. COVID's actually been good for me, shocking. So people need a lot of help with the programs. And yeah, this year is going to be awesome, amazing on it. In fact, I thought I was going to do what I did all last year in first quarter. It looks like it'll probably be by second quarter. And so, just really
Right.
thankful. So
I love
Good
it.
job.
I know. We'll do a good clap on that. We'll do a good clap.
yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Thank
You
you.
worked hard for that. I mean, the last 2 years, you have been truly, working it.
Yeah, I don't know what day of the week it is. So every day is, same day. It's like, especially with COVID, it's like we can't really do anything. So I'm like, let's just go to the office and work. I got a great team that I work with and some really top-notch people I'm learning from on it. And then also just being able to chance to help people more because I'm not a TV watcher. So why sit around my apartment and watch TV when I'm like, I can go help people and, try to make them better. And it's been awesome. So I'm just excited to see literally every day. I just get excited because I don't know what's going to happen, who you're going to meet, who's going to reach out, whatever calls I make to people. It's like, hey, you should talk to this person, talk to that person. Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I'm just here to help, try to help people reach their goals. And because if they reach their goals, it just makes everything better,
Yeah, it's true. Rebecca, I'm going to go into you. Give us you've got good news this week too.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Rebecca Mundal. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, recently moved to Austin, Texas. And I'm just at the beginning of launching my business, my Ayurvedic practitioner business. Very exciting. I'm just kind of I've been in school for a million years. I'm kind of at the very, very end of that and just getting going. And very, very exciting stuff.
Yeah, good. Well, we're glad to have you. And you're part of the summer's cohort.
Yes. Yep.
So that's pretty good. We have a small business cohort that's coming on this summer. Oh, and I think Michelle's on that, and so is Jamie. And so we've got a couple of you that'll be our super summer rock stars this year. So glad to have you. Danny, give us your deal. You also have big news.
I do. I have big news. So business-wise, I've been working with resin and making jewelry. But the biggest news is I got an email from Washington County, and I take my 911 dispatch test on Monday.
Woohoo!
Oh, and I turned 30 this month.
That is fantastic. Wow. I can't believe 30.
Yeah, I know.
That happened like that.
To
Wow. Wow. Yeah, imagine that. Okay, Janet Mills, give us your update.
Hello, nice to meet the new people. And Fatoon, it's been forever. I am a graphic designer for print, and I just found out the other day that I won an award. I can't say what it is for a couple months, but and now I know what it's like when people like get the Oscar phone call or whatever. So I didn't expect it.
And what we have to wait how long?
I can't tell anybody. A couple months. It's not that big a deal, but it was to me because I never expected
Such a big
it.
deal. Okay.
Yay!
But
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't a big deal, but I just can't believe I couldn't decide to cry or smile at the same time. But anyway, and just everything's happening. It's spring. There's so much to do. So
much to do. Well,
Yep.
that's exciting. So I'm just going to pin you down on that. So does that mean that we'll get to know in July?
yeah,
Okay.
but it's really not a big deal. It just was to me because I didn't expect it.
Well, would you stop? I feel like everyone wants to bitch slap you on that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Every award is a big
Right.
deal.
We're all just going to give you this message. Stop doing that.
I like the bitch slap better than the award.
I don't hit women, so no, I don't. I will not take part of any said slapping. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You can be the referee.
Up for her. All right, Sharaine, give us your intro. Welcome.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for having me, Jamie, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Sharaine Hemingway. Just like the author, I'm also an author. I published my debut novel, All for Love, in 2019. It's doing really well. I have a national distribution contract with Amazon, so that's pretty cool. I'm also a software engineer. I own a media and marketing firm
And see.
called Activate Your Inner Desires, where I specialize in helping entrepreneurs and small businesses just get a digital presence. So website, helping with social media pages, getting graphics. I also have helped a few clients launch podcasts during this time where everybody's home and wanting to listen to things outside of watching TV. And so that's been a really cool journey. And so you guys see the studio that I set up here in my living room. And then I'm trying to think of all the other things that I do. I'm also kind of tapping into property investment. So that's been really cool, just learning how to flip houses and really just dive into creating some generational wealth. So I'm happy to be here and meet everyone today.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad. Make sure you put that Amazon book link in here.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
allforlovebook.com. I have it up there, but I can post it one
good.
more time.
Okay. Yep. Put it in there. Michelle runs a book club.
Oh, awesome. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Allforlovebook.com. I love you guys' support. Thank you.
Okay. No, great. Okay, Michelle, since I said your name, you're next.
All right, I had a feeling that was coming. I'm Michelle, and I do branding and business strategy and website design and development. What makes me a little bit unique is that I have a simplified process that I use for all of those pieces because it can be so overwhelming for people. And my goal is to get you online joyfully. It doesn't have to be overwhelming and stressful. And I've also implemented earlier this year payment plans. So basically it's almost like renting or subscribing to your website. So you're paying it over 2 years.
Ooh,
time
I like that.
instead of having to come up with all of the money up front and still get a quality website. So
Brilliant. That's brilliant. That's actually great because it also helps study out your income.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a dual benefit, and that really was my goal, was to, instead of having these bulks of income coming in,
Right.
to do this auto pay system where there's a licensing fee that they pay up front, and then the rest of it is divided over 2 years, and it covers everything: hosting, care, the development of the site.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. And what was the price point that you put that into?
It depends on what they need, but they
Right.
start at $149 a month, I think is where
Okay.
I started. So
That's really affordable. So that's a great tool. Great tool. Good job. Good job. Alice Flowers.
Good morning. How is everybody? My name is Alice Flowers. My business is AF Image Group, and I am a personal brand management. So the people you heard about talking about their websites and how they can help brand your business, I help brand you, your image, and how you want to show up looking like the person you want other people to see. I take away all those anxieties for you, and I'm also a direct salesperson. I have skincare and makeup. So I really do help the woman to really show up the way that she wants to. Exciting thing about me, I was talking about it last month as well. I'm almost finished with my first virtual workshop. It's a 3-day session. So I look forward to giving you guys the date. Hopefully next month, I'll have that date available, and would love for you all to join me. It's a freebie on top of that. So I'm excited about it.
So that's going to be great.
Yes, it's women empowered.
We had that big breakthrough last month for you on some language.
Yes.
Can I follow up on that? How I watched it hit you.
Yes.
Of changing some of your language. What happened in the last month with that?
Well, I've incorporated that into some of the workshop that I'm doing. So it's going to be part of the media blitz, if you will, the promotion. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be adding it to my website. That's how it just shifted my mindset. It really helped me to recognize my target. And so that's how I'm using it right now. And I know that it's going to just really be, it's going to help people, women. Men are invited too, but it's for sure going to help, because they are also working on their personal brand as well. And right. Just shifting that to high achievers just really changed my mindset. If that's what it really did for me so far, it changed my mindset on how to go after people.
Good. Yeah. I love it. Donna McCurdy, we're coming down to you. And then Lisa, we're coming over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Donna McCurdy, and I have a business called Nido Tree, and it's my first venture is a product called Soccer Birds, and it's a coloring book at this point. Other products on their way, and just a business in progress, in the making. And I'm so excited to hear about everybody's successes today. How exciting! And also looking forward to the content today, Mickey. So thank you.
Yeah. Today's content will be pretty intense. Okay, Lisa. Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I was texting back and forth and like multitasking with work. So hi, I'm Lisa Covington. I was invited on by Jamien, which is great. And I thank her for it tremendously. She knows this. A little bit about me. My background really is in product development and production. I worked in New York in the garment industry for over 20 plus years for several brands: Adrian Vittadini, Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren. And with that, with traveling and working with different factories. So now my focus is to relaunch actually a brand that I was bringing forth before, and I had to stop because of life. Prospect Place 549. And what it is really like, and sorry, Andrew, it's more of a women's playground concept. So the concept is where, like we're doing right now, where we eat, shop, laugh, and enjoy one another. And that's like the 3 things that we love to do day in and day out. And I'm looking forward to launching that later on this fall with a pop-up, and then rolling it out later on.
Good. good. Do you have your website and stuff up already and put in the?
I'm going to relaunch the website because I had to take it down and redo it. So right now, I know I put my links in there for my wine, and of course, I'm a Mary Kay consultant because I love product. But that will be coming soon, and I'll have that
Okay.
up and coming before the fall.
So I'll look for that next month. Right? You got me?
I
Yeah.
heard you.
Okay.
I heard you. I see you. Yeah, I know Jamie is shaking her head like this,
Right.
even though she's not on camera. Yes, ma'am.
We're here. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And just to let you know, Andrew loves all of those things.
Wine. I
Yeah.
heard wine and I really perked up. I'm like, ooh, wine? Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a good brand because it supports it's all related around charities. So
Oh,
so every bottle, whatever you select, they have different charities that run, and you can create your own charity in there as a fundraiser for whatever you're doing. So like with your book clubs and podcasts, things like that.
Oh, wow. This is getting quite good. Quite good. Sandy Cleland, give us your update.
Hey, I'm Sandy Cleland with Remax Results. I'm a residential real estate agent working in the Twin Cities. And let's see what's new. So last month I did my first Facebook Live.
How did it go? That was the big.
I was just obsessed. It's like I couldn't get anything else done, and the technology part was tricky, and I had to reach out for help and practice. And anyway, so it went fine. I don't think anybody was watching. 2 people were watching.
It's the first time.
But it's still on there. It's on my Sandy Cleland Minneapolis real estate Facebook page if you want to look at it.
Put it in the link.
Oh, okay.
Put it in
And
the
it was
link.
about preparing your home for sale. So
Yeah.
and then the other thing, there's a new loan program. So the problem right now is the market's so fast that people really need to buy first so they know where they're going and then sell. But of course that's difficult for a lot of people because then they have to qualify for 2 homes. So there's a new program. It's actually a lender called Knock, and they and the agent has to be certified to do it, and then you get your client qualified as far as their income and all that, as well as the house has to qualify. So there's a lot of things that have to fall into place, but I've been through the training and I've been talking to my clients about it. And for all of us here in the office that are going to try to do it, like we're all telling our client, like, you're going to be my first person now. You understand, I have never done this before and you're the guinea pig. So we're going to do it together. And I just got an email from one of my clients that said they had actually gone in and gotten approved like on their own for Knock. And I'm like, well, I just got certified yesterday. So now we can start doing this together. Yeah, it'll be very helpful. So that's what's going on.
I'm going to give a group clap because 1, we challenged you last time. All right. We've challenged you actually every single week, every single month for the last 2 months. You followed through on it and you're stretching to learn new stuff. So I just want to acknowledge that. That's fantastic. And you are also having your best year ever. So
yes, thank you.
You see, can I say something? Sandy, last time she said, I'm scared. Scared. Well, I'm not actually scared, but I should be. It cracked me up that you weren't scared.
Right. Miriam, we haven't seen you forever. Welcome back.
Thank you. I don't even remember. I have been on Zoom, so it's been in the last year, but I think that was the first one in several years. So yeah, good to see everybody and hear stories. So yeah, I'm Sandy. I've been selling real estate for 22 years, and I know you've been selling longer than me. So I think you probably have some business trauma just like I do. But anyways, so I'm doing something new. Still going to do real estate, but my heart was stolen by someone that recruited me to get into the credit card processing industry. And
oh God,
that's a pretty big learning curve to understand how that process works. And I am very, very excited. We have kind of a sleeper vertical that most credit card processors aren't tuned into. So we're hoping to make a lot of money doing that.
Oh, good. Make sure you put the link in. Is this your first month or where are you at?
Yeah, it's like the first
Right now.
week. So I don't, yeah, I'm not official yet with links and all that good happy.
Okay. So right. So that's next month, right?
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you next month then on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, I'm really excited. It's
Good.
very
Well,
exciting.
we're glad to have you. Fatun Ali. What's happening?
Yes. Hey, I miss everyone here, and I'm glad to see new faces. Well, my name is Fatun Ali. I just got my real estate license in October of last year, and I'm really excited. I've been working Remax results for about 3 years, and I decided to get my license, and I did. And so far, I have closed 5 homes. Very excited.
5 homes and your biggest paycheck of your life.
My whole life, yes.
Whole life. Just in the last 30 days.
Yes, yes.
I need to borrow $5 for Tune. I need to borrow $5.
For sure.
Can you cash out me?
I'm very excited. My community is new in the buying industry, so I am getting a lot of clients. I am really so far already exhausted by showing houses. I don't know how you do, Sandy, and the people in the real estate business. You show so many houses and offers right now at this time. People are putting more money into offers, and I've seen 35,000 more, 50,000 more, and clients don't even get the houses. So it's a crazy market at this time, but I'm loving seeing people how excited they are of getting their own homes, showing them. And also I'm getting my own home soon.
Oh, that's
Excited.
the biggest news of all.
Yes, so I'm very excited about that too.
What is you have a close date coming up here?
For me, yeah, I'm gonna be my own client. So May 28th, that's what I'm house.
So
Wow.
next month,
Congratulations.
so now this is a huge deal for Fatun and for everybody, but this one's really, really big. So does that mean that next month we could have you on the call in your new home?
Yes, and I told you I need an interior designer because I'm not gonna move into a new home and bring what I have here. So I'm planning to at least buy some furniture and design the house. So I need an interior designer.
Okay, it needs an interior designer. I feel like between these two, Miriam and Sandy, we've got one here. Although Alice Flowers usually has something up her sleeve.
Wonderful.
All right, let's go into Damien. Give us your update. You've been everywhere. Oh my gosh. Puerto Rico.
Hello.
Hello.
Come on now. Sorry, not a beautiful sight today. I'm home. Things have been really well. Work has been really, really busy. I'm actually booked through the summertime, which I've never had happen.
Go to a group on that.
Yeah, I've never had happen in my life where every weekend in the summer that I'm pretty much booked up. If I didn't already have some family things. So I'm going to be going to Dubai and a few other places and stuff. So with the cooking, so that's a good thing. I also have been working really closely with Sharaine, and she is a big pusher on me finishing projects and getting things that are in my head kind of out and in working form. And she's really good at taking that and making that. So my whole THC line is basically like, I'm done with all I'm done with the packaging. She's designed the labeling and then we'll work on the website and all that other type of stuff. I'm being really strategic about how I want to launch it. I kind of want to be the Martha Stewart of THC. And so, yeah. And then we actually lucked up and kind of have been working on, I put it in there, this farm, Teagle Hills Farm. And so hopefully we're going to cross our fingers that we're going to get this and that these people, it's like state-of-the-art hydroponic system that is making basically all type of greens, microgreens and lettuce year round. They,
Oh yeah.
The farm itself is, even through COVID, making about $400,000 a year with no extra added. This will be a way for us to get it now into a system that will easily translate and turn over when legalization of marijuana happens here in North Carolina, around the world. So we projecting that that could be well over a few $1 million just on that little farm. So we're crossing our fingers that we can get the farm. So yeah, and this week, like personally, I've just had the most amazing week. Mother's Day week is usually really hard. I miss my mom quite a bit. But they accepted, I turned in my last papers and my last stuff. So for my doctorate degree. And
what?
I know.
Cabbage Patch.
And
right, we will all Cabbage Patch for that.
Right.
Cabbage Patch for that.
And my son is, like, my two sons are doing real well, but my youngest son has wanted all his life to be senior class president. And he's in a school that's had some really tough racist things happen and go on in his school. And he ran with another young lady who's also an African-American lady, and they won by a landslide. And my son is like the senior class president, and like, I haven't always been the best mom, but he makes me feel like I did something right in this world. And I've just had the best Mother's Day in all, like, God's green planet, like, ever so far. And it's like just starting this week. So it's just been a really good week. And I hired an assistant.
Wow.
So, yesterday. So,
and you're in the business cohort this summer.
Yes.
Yes.
So
So
it's been a great summer.
wow.
I mean, it's been a great couple weeks, besides being in Jamaica and everywhere else.
Wow.
Wow.
Damien, the prom pictures were just beautiful.
All of the above.
All of the above. And all of the craziness of how to get there. So
yeah.
Yeah. So good. So good. All right. Well, thanks for being here. Karen Karsten, what do you got to give?
What do I have to give?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here and I've had my second shot, so I'm totally vaccinated. So my writing group has started up again. They've all been vaccinated, so we can actually have a roundabout with masks off.
Wow.
I'm taking 2 classes. One is on writing and the other one is on social media.
Okay, great.
And I'm having a fun time with the social media one, the things you didn't know about Facebook.
Oh, we'll want to know all of them. We'll want to know all of them. Yeah, it's great.
But it's taught by Facebook, so through someone else, but it's taught by Facebook. So it has a little bit of slant. So not so much on some of the other ones, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's great. All right. Well, I'm going to jump into class. Here's my, I will fade my picture so my computer screen doesn't get joggy. My name is Mickey Mikeworth. I am your hostess of the mostest around here.
I put it over here.
That what? Oh, there goes Michael. Okay. So that's what's going on. For those of you who maybe follow me in my other life, you know, I'm also a business consultant. That's what I do. I grow things. Most people hang out with me because I am probably the most lovable math geek you've ever met. That I kind of solve my world through math. I do a lot of community work. We have a lot of changes in the community right now that I'm really proud of. And I got, I also was up for an award, which I did not receive, but I got an honorable mention. So I like that. And that was for social justice. So, you know, that part of being able to push the social justice piece forward in our city. And I've been doing that for, you know, a while. My big news is one of the largest projects that I've been working on here. We are actually going to have new leadership in. And so I've been on a national search for some leadership, and that's been so eye-opening. And the fun part is that I bought a 10-person tent and I threw it in the backyard, and it is fully furnished. So like a yurt, and it has been craziness. So my neighbors are coming over, and so I've been working from the tent, which, by the way, does have a full bed and all of the, it's glamping. It has a chandelier lamp. So it's so fun. It's so fun. So anyway, today's topic, so I'm going to take me.
So that's a little, the summer theme is probably been a little bit divulged there.
Oh, not at all, actually.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. For those of you who follow on summer theme, the first day of summer, the summer theme has, and this year's summer theme can also be done virtually like we did last year, but it's so simple, it's magic. Last summer was Goblet Summer. We had everybody toasting to the, the life that they have. And this year's, it's kind of fantastic. So I'll be interested to see how all of you, every single person can use this one again. So that'll be fun too. Okay, I'm
Mickey,
Yep.
I put the link to your podcast in the chat there.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's a good one.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Okay, I am going to share my screen. We have a good class today. I just want to hear from you on this. Today's topic is a big one on trauma. How many of you have trauma? You can just kind of raise your hand. Yeah, a lot of us. So it's a big topic. We see it really a lot. Okay, so we're going to go to the big screen, right? You see a big version of Mickey. So anyway, one of the things that I remind people about, for those of you who maybe took some of the work on surrender or have done some of that work with me privately, it's a big topic, and we're going to have a lot of new words today. So you're definitely going to want to give yourself a tally, and you're going to want to have a piece of paper around, because there's pieces here that I think you'll recognize in yourself. And if you've ever been averse to picking up the phone, avoiding what you're supposed to be doing, there's lots of pieces to that. So you may recognize yourself. You guys loved the bird theme last time so much that I thought I would give you my private art. So, and we do have a Facebook page for Prosperity Habit. When I post as my artist self, that's what I do. But today we'll want to focus on the 3 kinds of trauma. And for those of you who have trauma, some of you are talking about that acute trauma, right? That one event that totally, was memorable and perhaps stressful or dangerous, that living inner city, that has been very traumatic for some people. There may be a death in the family, there may be abuse, there's a lot of different ways. We also have complex trauma, which is that you have multiple versions of that you may have had. And when you say complex trauma, it is that there have been multiple situations where there has been really dangerous and stressful events. And when you think about those things, it's also about when you keep feeling them pop up again, right? That you'll be like suddenly remembering. It's not even a flashback, but a remembrance. And when we talk about trauma today, we're really going to talk about that chronic trauma. And it is that kind of repeated stressful piece for many people in business who aren't making their goals, who aren't getting it, who have lots of self-talk. That's really where we are looking at. What I found over the last 22 years is that I haven't had a business owner yet that didn't have some trauma. And when we look at those traumas, there's a long list, right? So for those of you who are working in sales, you may have been fired from a big client. You may have lost something that made you feel like, oh, this is the worst. You may have failed something very publicly. You may just feel defeated. A lot of people don't realize that imposter syndrome is often around trauma. The being able to, not make a commitment. So for those of you who kind of don't ask for the contract or don't ask enough for the contract, that can be there. Knowing that you undersold something or knowing that you keep losing money on something. There's a lot of ways to do that. When we look at customers that are angry, especially if you're a customer that's a bully, I had a restaurant owner who had someone just scream at her in the dining room where everyone could see. And I pulled her outside because it's a restaurant that I go to a lot. And I pulled her outside to process it. I literally stopped what I was doing to process that with her. And sometimes that's the fastest way to do it, is to just notice it right away. But we talk about it now, even though it was 6 months ago, but that was a huge piece of trauma for her. So, and that's a restaurant that person comes in a lot, and she's like, I don't even want that person to come back in, right? We don't want to even see that person when we've experienced trauma. We just want to never see it again. And so we kind of had to walk through that. So there are a lot of reasons that people have trauma in everyday life. Where I see a lot of you, especially for those of you who are high achievers and do lots and lots and lots of things, where chronic trauma really comes in, and this is probably a new concept for most of you, is in the pile up of micro traumas. So these are like those small things that happen and you just deal with them. Like, oh, that was a trauma. I mean, it wasn't like the big trauma, but it was like a trauma, right? And you have a bunch of those. When you start seeing those micro traumas, it's kind of like death from 1,000 paper cuts. And micro trauma, I can see by some of the reactions on your faces that you all know this, right? That they start to kind of add up. And then you start to go, oh, it's another one. Oh, it's another one. Oh, it's another one. And you can only surf that so long without getting rid of it. You have to discharge it. You have to acknowledge even the micro ones. And what I love about this class is that you can kind of start to make a little list as we're talking about it, to go, oh, wait, I do have these disappointments that kind of hurt a little more than I was normally liking, right? That you may still have that disappointment that you're carrying. And every time you feel it like a little stab in your heart or a little cinch in your tummy, right? Where your gut is just like, ugh, right? And those little ones add up to create chronic trauma. And what happens with chronic trauma is we then start to ramp up this arousal piece, right? Where little things will make you go crazy, right? If you've ever lost your shit for no good reason, right? That you're like, oh my God, I just lost my shit. And you goes to the moon on something. That is a really great indicator that you've got some things to work out. And it's not like you can just go, oh, I'm just gonna have some tea and have a meditation center, and then I'm gonna just maybe, you cannot pedicure your way out of trauma. That what you do is you defer it. And so we have to really look at what are the true things that you have to work through in trauma. And it's a process, right? And so when you hit that cycle, and what basically you'll think, oh, I am maxed out, right? That you'll feel fatigue at the highest level, or you'll instantly be like, I ain't doing that. And you just are like dismissive, hack it off, I ain't doing that. That when you look at that, you're above threshold. we see this an enormous amount in anyone who has had physical abuse or sexual abuse, is that their cup is 3/4 of the way full all the time. So whatever you pour on top of it, they're just maxed out, right? That they just have this underlying amount where you're like, why are they freaking out on this? Wasn't that big of a deal. Well, it's not that big of a deal because they're already 3/4 of the way to their threshold. You just pushed them or yourself that quarter of a step, right? And that's what makes it go, nuts. So this is somebody also who, when you see them, they frequently max out. And then what happens is the only thing that can happen when that max out happens is you go into hyperspeed, you're out of gas, you're out of tools, and you're going to crash, right? And sometimes that crash means like, I'm not going to talk to anybody. Sometimes that crash is called a clicker, where you just turn on a TV show and you just try to kind of get yourself out of that space. So you hear this a lot, and this is where it's so fun to have a Mickey in your life, because this is where we all go, oh, you should start forgiving yourself, right? And we all hear that. And this is going to give you a safe place to land. Forgiving failure, right? Because all of us have habits, right? Of what, we can remember all the things we didn't do well. But to do that feels kind of uncomfortable. So I have a secret little method that I use that kind of makes it all into perspective. Okay, but the answer is that you do have to figure out how to forgive yourself. And this is called Santa Clausing it. Okay, so today while we're in class, we're just going to Santa Claus it. And here's the Santa Claus, right? The Santa Claus, as in a contract, right, is you're just going to decide that you're good because all children are good. Everybody deserves a Santa Claus moment, right? Because every kid deserves magic, right? This is what Disney was built on, and doom and gloom. But right, that there's the magic, and that all the gifts can come to your way, right? And that we believe that just you being you is a process, that you is you, and it's important to feel love. So I think that's an easier way to come at this than to go, I'm just going to forgive myself for that. How about we're just going to Santa Claus it? That there's not even something to forgive, right? It goes beyond that. It's just that you get to be great. We've now put the overall limit of course you are good. Of course you deserve magic. Of course that is for you, because everyone wants to feel love. So that's your secret tool, that when you can't get to the forgiveness part, because it's too hard to pin down. Forgiveness, when you have a lot of micro traumas, it's just too difficult to pin down. So we don't. You just don't. We just Santa Claus it and just go, we're good. All is forgiven, right? You don't even need to be forgiven because all children are good and beautiful. The fact that you are just you is good enough, right? You've heard some of these things, but it's a little different, okay? This is my daughter's dog. So trauma is usually not a single event. If you have not heard of Gabor Mate, that's a name to write down. He has done an enormous amount of work around childhood trauma, and a lot of the things that he talks about, I think everybody can benefit from. A lot of times you'll do, Brene Brown is another person who's done a lot of work on trauma. That healing is a process and it's a complete journey. I remind everyone, right? You cannot pedicure, manicure, date trauma away. It's not that easy, that you have to actually come up with a plan. And that's what we're going to do today, is start to give you some real planning tools on how to manage trauma. And when you look at that, it's one of the things that you will feel first is the illusion or the psychological pressure right? The perception of, I don't know why I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling pressure. And your body's going to start to respond to that already. So you may start to feel the little balloon in your chest. You might feel your stomach start to get a little queasy. You may feel like a cloud is there. So stress is stress. There's natural stress, like, oh my gosh, I'm in a hurry, right? That's a natural form of stress. One of the reasons why I assign teenagers the job of working in fast food is because they need to really understand what stress is. Stress, normal stress, healthy stress is really a lunch rush, right? You've got to be on the team, you got to work it through, you got to pay attention, and guess what? It's over in an hour and a half, right? It's 90 minutes long. But boy, in that 90 minutes, you better be called to action, because if you are not on your place on the line, the rest of that line is going to want to just, burn your cookies, right? That they are just going to, you have to learn what real stress is, not foreboding stress, or not stress that's related to trauma. And this one is a quote from someone else, but I think this gives it where most of us feel that pressure around the stress of trauma is, right? Anxiety feels as if everyone in the world is waiting for me to trip up, so that they can laugh at me. That's one form of it. But where we really feel it is in the second part of his statement. It makes me feel nervous and unsure whether the next step to take is the best way. Right? That's the insidious nature of trauma, stress, anxiety. They're a Molotov cocktail. And they all kind of mix together as if they're separate items, but when you stir it together, it's just one drink, right? And that one drink is usually called trauma. And it's insidious, and it's in all these little ways. So this is where I'm going to stop the share, because we're going to start a tally. I have 16 slides, and you get to kind of pick this, but I'm going to stop the share for a second, because I'm going to check in. How many of you recognize yourself? Right. Okay. Where are you recognizing it? And
I think
free throw.
For me, it's having the trauma pile up. Like, I can manage one-off small incidents, but if multiple happen and I don't confront the 1 through 3 and the other ones come, then it does become a bit of a problem. So just trying to be conscious of, this is a stressful situation, let me address it so that they don't pile up over time.
Right. And that micro trauma is also going back in, and you have to release it. Right? You have to give your conscious mind a way that it's solved, and solved and out of you. Yeah. And sometimes that's just as simple as going through and going, whew, okay, that's done. I mean, literally hands up, dropping a file over, but an announcement has to be made that is done. Exhale, let me go on to the next thing. So there's
I've learned to create boundaries too, just like boundaries around my time. So if there's a project, I'm trying to allocate the exact amount of time so that what I'm being paid for, I don't feel like I'm working more than I'm charging, essentially. So putting boundaries around my time, boundaries around my price. Every customer just isn't my customer. And so I've had to teach myself not to lower my price just to sometimes get a job. And then just boundaries around like who I am, and always just being authentic. Because sometimes in the past, I felt like, I'm 30. Most people that I work with are a lot older than me, especially coming out of corporate America. And I sometimes felt like I had to be something I wasn't, or try to be the loudest or the brightest in the room, when just being myself was enough. So definitely learning that, and it reduced a lot of stress and trauma for me.
Right. Thank you, Sharaine. Anybody else have something that popped up?
I know for me, like, I know we talked about this, Mickey, but I know for me, like, my trauma is like more rooted in childhood stuff that I have carried for a length time. So it causes me to be afraid to like put myself front and center in a way of pushing what I need to have. And so I've been, especially since our talk, really just trying to figure out like, how do I use that same energy as we talk to become front and center, and reverting that in a different way. And like the trauma has happened, right? So I know how to deal and get through that. So why would I be afraid of anything else? So I've just been strategically been trying to put myself around people who almost make me do the stuff. Like I know you probably will hear me talk about Sharaine a lot, because she's like one of those people, like whether she knows it or not. Like
I think the cat's out of the bag right now.
yeah, I sit and I talk to her about things, and I'm just saying them like, this is what I've done since I was young and blah, blah, blah. And I've got this. And she's like, well, sis, what's going on? Like, we're going to have this label up tomorrow, and I'm going to need you to do this, this, and this step. And so the fear comes in me, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go home and do these steps. And if I've got to cry through that or feel like it's going to fail, like, I'll just do that, because that's what I've been doing with or without it being done.
And that's called discharging, right? That's discharging. That's saying, look, I'm going to feel all the feels. I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to process them and go through.
Right.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Anyone else have one they want to throw out for the group? Yeah, Lisa.
I would think, and I agree with Sharaine in terms of when she was mentioning boundaries, because I have a lot of boundaries, and that built up over time from a lot of things in business that failed and wasn't as successful, or got to a point of successful and didn't, transfer over, where I felt I failed in the process. So, and it created a lot of boundaries for me as far as trust, because I don't trust a lot of people. And I've been very careful. And I understood what she's saying. I'm being very careful of who I'm putting in my space. If you're acquaintance, that's fine. If we're business, that's fine. And then learning that whole process, because, there was a time where I was trusting everyone, and that wasn't the right thing to do for my business.
Right.
And for myself. So I understood that totally. So that's what I resonated with.
Good. Okay. I'm going to put our screen back up. You have a chat box, which I keep chatting into for you, but just to remind yourselves of kind of what everyone else is doing. Danny wrote into the 3/4 cup full thing is a big deal. Lots of people, you don't realize that your cup is already up to here. So, I mean, like the minute that something comes up, you just can't see, right? You're just out of space. And that's the problem with micro trauma. But that's also the problem with unresolved trauma. And by going through those micro traumas, you suddenly can go, oh, now I can breathe. Oh, now I can take something, like it just starts pushing it down a little bit. And it just gives you more room to be able to function. But again, if you only clear enough room for you to kind of clear the top half of your cup, and the other bottom half is there, it gets festery and gross, right? It just stays there. So you gotta move it through. Okay, I'm gonna put the share screen on again. So again, we're just gonna show some of the ways that it would come up in your life. The first one is that I see the most is that we stop sharing our ideas or our work with other people. So what I want you to do is I just want you to give yourself a hashtag. Now, for those of you who love math as much as I do, we're going to kind of do it as a how many out of 16. There's a secret 17th slide that gives you some other options, but I'm going to give you 16 choices right now. Having a kind of a sense of dread, right? It's just kind of burning in the back. Like you don't know why you're feeling that piece of dread, but you know it's there. Constantly noticing who's not at the table, like what's the business you don't have? What are the partnerships that aren't there? That there's kind of a twinge of what is not present in your business or in your community. This one I see the most is that this is when people turn to only email, right? They are not going to pick up the phone, that they just let it roll to voicemail. You know that most people don't answer their phone, or that they only respond by by text, but isolating. And a lot of times you see this, and the reason I put a coffee shop version in there is you've seen all of these coffee shop people, not during COVID, but it's just so much easier to hide and be alone with your screen. Another way that we see that is people become very scripted, that they only say a certain amount of things and then they don't say anymore, right? They stop talking. They stop actively engaging in the conversation, that they spend a lot of time listening. They have planned responses, and that's about it. They're not going to go into detail. Rumination, that's when that idea keeps going around in your head. It's around, and you keep thinking about it over and over. Rumination, I see a lot in business owners. We see this a lot here in avoiding tasks, and you are actively knowing that you are avoiding the tasks and you're still worrying about them, even though you know you're avoiding it. So you have this double whammy where you know you're doing the wrong thing that you shouldn't be doing, and you're still worrying about the task itself. You're not kind of coming through. That sometimes it hurts to be alone, and at the same time, you don't want to see people. So you recognize that there's pain of being alone, and you know that you still just don't feel up to seeing people. This is another one where you've decided that maybe you just don't have enough in you to look stupid. So you'll stop doing funny stuff, or that maybe you don't feel fun, that you're a void on the fun. This happened to be a day we were, I think, in Iowa, and I made my husband go out. This is a whole thing of these were lawn ornaments, life-size lawn ornaments that you could buy, and I'm like, oh my God, that guy has your shape, he has your figure, you should go out and pose with him. So there's his pose of him looking like an alien. Another way that we often see in trauma is that you have animals that become very, very, very important, or that you are spending a lot of time with them, like hugging them, holding them. There's a reason why animals are a therapy, right? So that you may have just noticed that you needed to spend a lot of time holding a cat, but they just become very important for you as a soothing tool, where you can hold them and just feel better. Or if you go to them, I just need to go home and hug my something, right? I just need to go do that. Another one that I see a lot is that we don't like the picture that other people paint of us. So we're uncomfortable with how others are going to paint the picture of us. So we just don't ask, how do you see me? Because if it comes back distorted, it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? That we don't even want to know what is the picture that others are painting of us. There's a Pegasus in the background of this one. And one of the things about a great winged beast is that a lot of times we like to pretend that we're all puffy and big and we have it all together. And sometimes it's because we don't want other people to see our failures, but it's oftentimes a little trickier, and that is that we don't want to see our failure, that we aren't in a position to actually process that piece of trauma and recognize it. So we just kind of hang around and don't look at it. When I talked about the half cup piece, right? This is all the stuff on the bottom of the cup that we just don't feel like doing. So we'll just work in the top part of the cup, of the emotional cup, and we'll just look like we're doing really well. And that's when it gets really festering, because the longer that you don't want to see your own stuff, the weirder it gets. This one will explain so many people If you've ever worked in partnerships and you have someone who really needs constant reassurance, that they're asking too many questions, that they're a little bit annoying, but they are someone who is wanting lots of reassurance so that someone wouldn't be angry with you. So that idea of somebody who's always asking questions, they want lots of reassurance so that they are sure that someone isn't angry or upset. This one here is that you need outside things to move us to action, that you stop being self-regulating, that you're like, I just don't feel like doing this, right? Like suddenly like, oh, I'll get to it later. But something from the outside has to move you forward to action, that you just aren't doing it. Thinking through cotton, right? That when you suddenly feel as though all of the creative things that you want to do starts to feel like you are thinking through cotton. This particular picture is actually from Gypsy Summer, where everybody was making their own gypsy gear. That you hide your body, that you have, there are two pieces to that. One is that you're seeing people who hide their body to not have attention, and some people who show too much of their body for attention. So you see this a lot in teenage mimicry. But again, this is also where sometimes Alice will probably have a lot more language for this on us than most. But again, of the amount of clothing that shows your shape or what you look like is really important. Can be another piece. So that's the 16 slides. So you want to count up your pieces. This is the Miracle Mile slide where we can go, oh, okay, here's some other ways that you can feel that. That you're easily shocked, that you have difficulty concentrating, irritability, mood swings, shame, self-blame, feeling sad or hopeless. But where I see it a lot in business owners is they just turn off. They just become numb. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to pay attention to it. Okay, I'm going to stop share and put us back together again. How many of you had more of those than you thought? Right? Okay. So what stuck out to you, Andrew?
You just basically, some of those slides just described my Friday last week. And so that's why the timing of this meeting couldn't be more proper on it, just because, it's just kind of a bad day. I think pretty much all have our own businesses.
Yep.
We ride the emotions of the highs and the lows. And for me, Friday was a low day where it's like, I thought I was going to add like 4 to 6 new clients this month, business clients. None of them got back. It's like, what's going on? We're such a perfect fit. We can do all this great work, and just not hearing from anyone. And, then all of a sudden you start going to some dark place, like, maybe I suck, maybe I'm not good, or what's going on, or what am I not doing, or what didn't I say, type of thing. And so you gotta just remind yourself that it's like, there's probably other reasons than what I'm probably thinking of what it is. Why am I putting it all on me? Why is it all my fault on it? And it's just like, hey, look, I'm just doing the best I can, and just got to be okay, good with that. But yeah, I mean, then it's like,
I think that's the key item, Andrew, of when we put it all on us.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're the ones that are blood, sweat, and tears. We're putting all the time and effort in. So it's like, I put all this work, so it has to happen, right? And then when it doesn't, it's like, well, how did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? And you want to have that fit, and you got to realize that it might not be me at all. It might be something else. So that's where it's like, I don't want to talk to anyone. Let me just do the email. Let me, avoid some certain things. I mean, I wrote them down here. It's like, well, maybe, I don't have this person. If I had this person in my group or this referral center,
right? Who's not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so it's just like, or I had a meeting with my firm partner that day too, and it's just like I just want him to tell me that I'm doing a good job. Some sort of outside validation on it, and it just and when I left the meeting with him, I'm like, I didn't get that. I'm like, maybe I'm just the worst, and it just but just realizing that it just maybe something did good happen. Like I said, next day on it, and just realize it's like as long as you just try to come in and do your best, and you can't ask for anything more. So
Well, the next set of slides you'll like, because it'll give you some tags pieces.
okay, good on it.
Okay. So anybody else have one that surprised them or spoke to them?
Well, I don't think anything surprised me, but what it did, it made me see it all in one picture versus, it compartmentalizing them, this today is this, tomorrow is that, but seeing them all together made me realize that a lot of them I am, or I have gone through. And so, but for me, I have recognized these things, but like I said, usually at a separate time.
Right.
And how I turned that around is that I said, okay, this is who I am right now. And it helped me to recognize me so that I could figure out what I need to move past some of those things. Although that still creeps up, but it also helps me to recognize it. It helps me to get to know me better. And I think that's where I have to start is, why am I avoiding this? Or why am I noticing who's not at the table? And I begin to recognize what I may need to do on my end to clear up some of those things.
What I love about that is, Alice, I think that's a brilliant way to look at it. Of who am I right now? Right, this is me right now. But again, looking at it and starting to ask another question, and we'll have some more on that as well about the questions to ask. But again, it's really, what I really got out of what you are saying is just how it is a process filled with grace and patience, and it's time consuming, and there's not always time to do it right when it's happening. And you kind of got to put a little note to go, let me walk through that.
Right.
And the other piece that I want to just build on is that, why is it presenting? Right? Exactly. Why is it presenting? That's the question that she's asking. Like, why is this so important right now? Yeah,
that is true. That is true. And this is part of my empowerment. So all these things you're talking about are the things that when I was young, I have always been a very shy girl. I'm still shy. And that is my business, though, is things I want. I have allowed insecurities to hold me back. And some of these things to me is just insecurities. And so what I've done is to be determined to turn this around. And that's what I do in my workshops, is to help women who they have this big, huge heart to do something, this passion, but something is holding them back. And just figuring out what is that to move to the next step. So that's this. So I teach exactly what I'm feeling myself.
Right. Very good. Interesting point. For those of you who love, psychology in general, is that insecurity with the environment, not like insecurity around, like, I don't want to leave my mom's arms, but insecurity with the environment and how other people view you starts at age 3. So if you're looking back to your 3-year-old self, that's when you really start learning that. And so you can go back and kind of start to look at, what did you do for favor?
Exactly.
Right. What is favor in general? Okay, I'm going to put our share screen back up. I'm hoping you all had enough of that, right? That there's lots of pieces, right? Remember, today we're Santa Clausing it, right? That's the big piece, is that we're just going to Santa Claus this right now. Like, you're good. You're so good. You're so good. You don't have to dig everything out to be able to move it forward. And I do want you to think about kind of the anti-trauma is, for all of the things that you have to do, you actually have to build it. trauma's not a super easy thing to work through as like all is done. It's insidious. It wraps itself up in lots of different places. But the number one tool I can give you is to focus on outcomes. And that's outcomes on everything that you're doing. So outcome for a meal, outcome for what you're doing with your day, outcome, because it gives yourself the gift of being able to measure something small. And I look for low stakes wins on those. So when you're looking for a focus on an outcome, it may be, right, that I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. A low stakes outcome would be, I'm going to make my living room something that I like to sit in, right? Or that I feel good. And this is one that I wrote, right? We are all in this, experiment of Earth School. It is mysterious, it is delicious, it is rambunctious, it is emotional, and it is experimental. You are delicious, rambunctious, emotional, and experimental. Going back to Alice's point of who am I today, right? That this is an experiment and there isn't a right answer, that you are a spectacular experiment on your environment, on everything that you've had, all of the dreams that come up. It is an act, one of the things that you've heard me say before, it is an act of rebellion to actively choose to enjoy your life. Because you must be willing to put in the hellacious effort to say, I will be authentic, I will move forward in my wild and precious life, and treat it as that, right? We're going to Santa Claus it. That it doesn't matter if you're wounded. It doesn't matter if you're in process. It doesn't matter, because you deserve the magic. So here's the habit. One of the habits I'm going to encourage you to do right away. And it is super helpful because it actually will give you tools that you forgot, which is notice the past and present of the improvements that you've already made. For those of you who have been in business a long time, this is a chance to kind of review what you've already built. So you may already have built a constant contact list. You may have already learned a set of skills. You may already have these projects. That is one of the fastest habits that you can do, is just to notice the amount that you have. For those of you who are in sales, you have sales training, you have presentation skills, that you have a lot of things that are already there. But what that does, by you noticing that, you may want to notice that you've read 1,000 books on business. You may want to notice that you have listened to all of the greats on YouTube. You may want to notice that you have so many steps a day. You may want to notice that you actually love the people that are in your life, or that you've made 10 new friends or whatever. It's really starting to notice, and I'm going to encourage you to write it down. And that list is going to also help fuel you, because what happened is your brain will start to look at that list and it will start to put together new opportunity, and new opportunity that it sees as being effortless because you already have the groundwork done. Right? And I just felt that land for you, so I'm going to say it again, right? By making the list of all the things, past and present, that you've already made improvements on or have created, by reviewing that list, it will take down the barriers in your mind that this is going to be hard, because it already says, I've already got the groundwork. All the pieces are here. I just need to put them together and I can make this new thing. It starts to give that endorphin of lucky, of I believe I can do it. It lets you let down all of the resistance. And what it does is it kind of pulls what I call the storm out of the teacup. right? That you sometimes have a ball of storm that you've caused, that you've put into your teacup, right? It takes it out. It allows you to really work forward with strategic vision, voice, leadership, partnership, but it allows you to be a maximizer. So go make that list for yourself. The other thing is again, right, learning that you are on a journey, and that is also learning the ways that you cope. And rather than try to symptom, I'm tired of feeling fear, I'm tired of feeling this emotion, I'm tired of that. That's a lion in your heart that's always screaming, and that lion lives there. So you're just going to have to figure out a coping mechanism to be able to go, oh, when the lion roars, he's not actually going to eat me, right? This is a straightforward example, right? Of going, oh, okay, let's work on that. The other thing that I encourage people to do is to really start putting a new movie in your head. And that means it's truly laughing. And if you do not understand laughing, it is when it hits you, it strikes you, and you are auditory. It's not a smile. It's not just, oh, that's sweet. It is laughing because of what it does. And I know that Karen has done a lot of work on that, language and other things. Do you have something you want to add in that laughing piece? Because I think you did a whole class on that.
Well, there is a thing called laughter yoga. I don't do that, but just laughing releases a lot of chemicals that help you just be less depressed. So if you smile at yourself in the mirror in the morning every day, even if it's not real, it still releases those hormones and helps. So, I mean, you can't go around grinning madly all the time, but just the act of smiling and laughing. Sometimes it's hard to laugh, but that's also another thing. Laughing also gets air into your lungs and to your brain. So yeah, it's good.
It's also a coping mechanism.
Yes.
So if you've ever, so one of the things that people will often call me with terrible news, like they're having a shitty day, and I will automatically laugh at how stupid that and shitty that is, where I'm like, oh my God, that is awful. Like, how did that happen? And somehow somebody else being able to find mirth and merry in your pain with you is sometimes easier. Little do you know that Danny, who's in this group, her mother's name is Catherine. And I used to call them Catherineisms, because you would call Catherine and she would give you a reframe instantly. So like, I had 3 kids in the car, my car broke down, I had to walk down Central Avenue 3.5 miles. And it was just miserable and this and that. And she would go, wow, what a great day for a walk. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're awful. Thank you for that reframe. So it's, again, a perspective change, right? The world is big. The world is big. For those of you who are younger that are in this group in your 30s, this is the largest thing that you will have. And if you don't solve it in your 30s, it's going to drag forward for you in your 40s, which is nobody's watching. Nobody cares. Nobody actually is measuring whether or not you're perfect. So just go and do the things that make you feel awesome. And that's giving yourself a perspective change. Here's the assignment that I'm going to give you today is the 10 tiny things. So this picture is of a runner. A lot of runners, this is why they run in the morning. This is why people exercise in the morning. This is why people do yoga in the morning, is because they have to do something that will get them sorted to move in the right direction. So what you're looking for are these tiny things, because sometimes we don't all have that time. You don't have an hour in the morning. But you're going to have to find these 10 tiny things that you can consistently do that will just get you moving. sometimes for a writer that's just sitting in front of their, sitting in front of their space. When we look at, okay, new person today, who is the writer? I'm gonna let you unfold. I can't see you on my screen.
Sharaine?
Sharaine, right? Writer.
Hello. Yes, I am.
Give us that piece, right? Because you had to sit down and write.
So what do you want me to speak on specifically? I can speak on
Well,
writing all day.
How'd you get yourself to keep going to the desk?
Oh, okay. So for me, it was, I always tell myself this quote, and I write it on every mirror in my house with a dry erase marker. So if you're a writer, take this tip. The first draft is meant to be written, not right. And so how I overcome writer's block is I'm always so caught up in trying to get the perfect plot, the perfect finale, the perfect whatever I'm writing in that chapter. And sometimes I get so bogged down in trying to make it perfect that I don't write anything. And so when I read that quote, I literally have it written all over the house. It just puts me in the mindset of, again, nobody cares and it's all in my head. I just need to get it out. And so I'll just write and write and write. If I don't use those chapters, I'll save them for later, but at least I got it out. So now that my head is clear to really focus on what I want to talk about. And 9 times out of 10, if I'm sitting down and I'm actually just typing whatever, the vision of what I really want to do, that outline comes to me in that process. So the first draft is meant to be written. It's not meant to be right.
Right. Now, Michelle and Sandy, you both have done a lot of work on this, of just getting yourself motivated to work through, because you both have to have all of it's on you. Do you have a list of things that you do to make yourself just keep going?
I don't know if I have a list necessarily. I just do it. I think the one thing that helps me when I get really stuck is to focus on my task list for a bit and make sure that it's very clean and very organized, because the second that it starts to not be attended to well, things get missed and I start to feel like my entire life is through cotton. I loved that descriptor.
Right.
Everything just feels unclear. But I do have a morning routine, and if I don't get to do that, it sets the tone for the whole day.
Right.
But I never really looked at it like these are that I consciously created it, because it was just things that over the years I realized if I didn't get those pieces in my morning, then I struggled the rest of the day.
Right. And that task list for you, for everyone, that's about outcomes, right? That's about focusing on the outcomes that you have. Sandy, how do you do this? Because you have a lot of steps in your process with a lot of multiple people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a very good morning routine. I get on the computer right away, but I do find that if I can just get myself into the shower, that will motivate me to get out of the house. It's like until I get the shower, I feel like, what else can I do while I sit here at the dining room table on the computer, going through that. But I do constantly look at my task list, and yeah, it's a big mess of personal and business and gets me a little bit overwhelmed. But yeah, I do miss things if I don't look at it all the time. As far as being motivated, it's just a natural thing at this point. It's just a habit. But some of the things I avoid, and we've talked about this before, are calling people. So, like I'm using the email, or I'm thinking of a reason why I shouldn't call them, and I'm doing email instead. So I have that call reluctance. I haven't been able to overcome it. It's not like I never make a phone call, but
that's where this tool that's on the screen now is probably going to be your biggest tool to walk away from, is to not pick up the phone before you've figured out what your outcome on the call is. So I'm going to call them for this reason.
Okay.
That's for all of you who avoid the phone call, you'll never avoid it if you understand the outcome first. I'm calling for this reason. I'm calling for this reason, or I want to know this. If you are calling, so I'll give you an example for, you know, I'm calling my kid. Why am I calling my kid? Because I want them to know I'm thinking of them or I love them, right? Okay, great. Now it's easier for me to get on the call, right? If they're busy, I can just blurt that out to go, oh, okay, I just called to remind you that I think you're great. Okay, great. Call done. I've completed that. But again, it's that outcome as opposed to kind of worrying about why they couldn't talk to you, right? I want to acknowledge that Billy's on. Hey, Billy, we're just going to kind of wave at you. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, do you want to just quick give yourself an introduction to the group?
Yes, my name is Billy, and I am the owner of a startup Indigenous Day Spa. Right now, I'm looking for a location, looking for acquisition of a existing salon spa, hopefully or willfully with employees intact. And I've completed my logo and website. I'm stuck with finishing my financial projections of my business plan.
Okay.
And that's where I find my business trauma is mostly with completing important tasks and not so much with the communication piece. I'm pretty good at being resourceful and reaching out and getting what I need done, or finding people who have the answer if I don't, but it's that one thing that I'm stuck in currently.
Okay. So I'm gonna take that ask Billy and put it into the group. So if you guys have something for Billy, just type it into the chat box. Billy, we use the chat box a lot here. So just put in your name and anything that you want them to know. It sounds like you're not ready to do your Instagram and all of that. So maybe that'll come next month. So you'll probably, but focusing in on buying an existing business is the right answer. I think that was brilliant.
So please use the chat box because I do send the chat box to everybody.
Oh, love that. One more way that Karen's got it all figured out.
I was going to say, you know, for me, I actually journal pretty much every day. And I learned that as a little girl. And so when I can't figure out what to write, I just write nothing, or whatever word comes to my thing. Oh yeah, I have journals with lots of pages of nothing, until something kind of comes in of my day. And I write almost every morning, but definitely before I go to sleep, I jot down something or write something. But my biggest morning routine, I'm big about the earth and big about like connecting with everything that I'm connect with. So after I finish praying and meditating, I always, no matter if it's cold, rainy, hot, I don't care what it is, touch my feet to the soil of the earth to feel like the earth moving in me. And kind of my ask to the universe is to kind of guide me, lead me in the ways where I'm kind of fearful of things, to kind of walk me through that, to basically that the vibrations of the earth kind of walk me to what it is that I need out of my day today.
Right. Danny, you have something very similar to that you're doing in the morning as well. What is it that you do in the morning right away?
Me, I open the curtain and I look at the sun. I don't care if it's cloudy or anything. It could be raining. And my first thought usually is, great, it's sunny, which means at least there's light. Or if it's raining, you know, hey, we'll have flowers. Or I really don't like winter. But when it's snowing, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to get soaked when I go out to my car. I can brush it off. Just sort of reminding myself that, you know, every turn of the earth and every ray of sunshine is a gift, and we're still here.
Yeah. Love it. That's a good one.
And then I talk to my trees. That's another big thing I do.
Tree talker. I like it.
It sounds crazy, but they have answers.
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to mention that journal writing is really helpful for everyone and anyone. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, you know. You can just write down just one little thing. One thing that people do that I advise my clients to do is every day to do a mind dump. Just start writing for a predetermined amount of time, like 3 minutes, whatever comes into your head right now. And you can tear it up if it's terrible, but it does get rid of a lot of stuff that's just sort of hanging around.
I love it. I love it. So again, the assignment here is, right, you're going to look for that 10 list of tiny things. These are things that are, again, 3 minutes to 10 minutes that are items that you can do to just go, let me figure out how I get started into the business of the business that you are doing, right? Because sometimes you don't really know where to start because everything needs to get done. So we're looking at 10 tiny things. This may be to say, hey, I'm going to answer my Instagram followers. Hey, I'm going to do these small tasks. It may be I'm going to check my spam folder. I'm going to delete all of the spam. But these are really tiny tasks that are consistent and need to be done all the time, but it'll just get you at your place of work, right? At the place that you need to do stuff, and that you can start just moving. And it will start to move you in that direction if you don't have a task list. Like Michelle just said, look, I'm going to put my task list together. A lot of people here are task list lovers. The next thing I want to kind of push forward to you is really, how do you manage the trauma? The trauma is about asking it to deliver you want to deliver your thoughts to a new energetic response. So instead of, right, letting just anything fly into your brain, it is programming your brain to ask it a different question. And when you put this with the 10 tiny tasks, it's a little bit magic. So ask a different question, get a different outcome, right? Ask a different question, make a different outcome. So on the next page, I'm just going to give you an example, right? What can I do today that will get me further on my website? What can I do? You know, where would I get 3 new clients? What's the one thing I can do to get closer to, you know, finishing project Y? So when you start to change the questions that you're asking, who, what, why, where, very specific. For those of you who are the step addicts, right, that you want so many steps in a day, the question would be, you know, what can I do today to get an extra 500 steps? Right? And sometimes that is literally, I have found that 500 steps is truly walk down to the end of the block and back, right? Takes you 2.5 to 4 minutes. Okay, great. So it's going to start to query yourself, and that's going to be your assignment for the month, okay? Is to really start to hone in on those 10 questions. And then when we come back together next month, I really want to hear some of those questions that you asked yourselves and how they started working. So Billy, for you, it would be, right, who can I get to help me through these things that I, you know, these finances, right? What's the resource that can do this with me? Or what is the smallest task I can do to move this forward on the finances? And so that might be price checking, that might be doing something around accounting, that might be learning an accounting phrase, could be a lot of things. Okay, so for those of you who are looking at, right, here's the, again, we're on the subject of the anti-trauma. It is that all of these small wins are your ticket to training your body, your mind, to not crash, to not pick out the old garbage, but it will keep it focused on constantly improving, counting its own track record, seeing that there is progress forward, and then it doesn't have to worry about the garbage. right? When Andrew was telling you about his bad Friday, at the end of it, he said, hey, if I just go in every day and do my best, that's the outcome I'm looking for in myself. I can't do better than that. And that's really about, right, when we start to look at that list, that's being compassionate, but that's also saying, here's the outcome that I want for myself. The outcome that I want for myself is for me to show up fully as myself, right? That somebody had said it earlier of they just have to be their authentic self. That is the explanation of what makes them decide that they've done what they could. Another magic tool for you is to just do timed intervals. We've done this in the past, but it's 28 minutes. So when you start to look at what is a 2% change that somebody can do, it's allotting a 28-minute time frame into a project or an idea or something that you're trying to do. So we focus on those small wins. Those are low-level wins, but they're 2%. And remember, if you start making enough 2% changes, you really start to change the direction. So looking at those timed intervals, if you're going to do that, that's 28 minutes. So just set a timer and go, I'm going to look at this thing I don't want to do for just 28 minutes and see what happens. So for those of you who don't like working on your email, I'm going to assign you 28 minutes, right? To go through and take all of these things that you've subscribed to that are subscribed themselves to you, and just take 28 minutes and start clearing out that email list, right? Of all the garbage, right? If what you hate is feeling that you're overwhelmed and clutter, then you need 28 minutes on your desk. If what you feel is that too much stuff isn't filed, then you need to take that 28 minutes on your files, right? So you've got to get a place for your mind to go. And that's where that small step, right? Asking these questions and then, right, having that list. So you can start pushing it towards that. And the more that you do the things that really are authentically the things that build you, the less your trauma will pop up, right? Because success is a coping mechanism. Let me say that again. Success is a coping mechanism. Not just getting a task done, but getting the task done to all of you overachievers in a way that you can have the little rainbow come down out of the sky that says, good job, it's perfect. But you don't do it because being perfect takes an enormous amount of time, right? This is a 7-hour task. I do not have 7 hours. I don't have the time to do that. You don't need to do that. You're just going to put it on that tiny task list. We're going to ask ourselves a question around it, right? And then we're going to assign it that 28 minutes because you only need 15 times in a year to do that 28 minutes and you're done with the giant task.
I call that tackling the slimy frog. So every day I challenge myself 10 minutes to tackle my slimy frog, whatever that may be that week.
Right. Eat your frog. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. But at some point in the day, that has to turn not from a slimy frog, but to a reward center. And you get your reward from having it done, but it has to come into not the spirit of this is gross. It has to come back into the spirit of I'm winning. I can win at this. I can get this done. I've got 28 minutes. Let me outsmart this, right? We for those of you who remember the class on hacking, right? That hacking things to go, wait, is there another way for me to solve this? Let me hack this. What is the hack? H-A-C-K. There's a simpler, easier way for me to get this done. Sometimes hacking it is assigning it to someone else. Donna McCurdy had right? That was your huge hack, was how to stop fighting with stuff by finding somebody who could do it better and faster, right? Hack. Okay, for those of you, I'm telling you, stickers work. Do not be afraid to use a sticker or a star or a system that says, I got that done. The world of stickers on your calendar has grown exponentially in the last decade. People like to look at stickers on a piece of paper as a way to measure what they've done. Okay, so timed intervals, putting some sort of way for you to go, oh, I did that. What I do that a lot for is those of you who are trying to make a certain dollar amount in a week, is at the end of the week, I would go, okay, did you get that dollar amount? So did you have that $2,000 or $3,000 a week that you wanted? And then put a star on every time you actually hit that goal. And whatever your number is, it may be 300, but whatever is that star sticker that you need, start doing it. And just pick your number. Or you can give yourself a task list of how many new clients you want in a year, what are the types of products that you want to have sold. So for those of you who are doing makeup, it may be, I want to sell, this many complete kits in a year. You put a sticker up, okay, I'm moving towards that. Your mind will look for the reward. And that's what you have to start programming into your mind, that it's constantly being rewarded for you using the coping mechanism of succeeding. Right? I just felt that land, right? We're going to retrain your mind with the coping mechanism that it can see that you're moving forward. Small thing, right? Show up, go there, focus on what's working. I'm going to stop my share. So there's a whole, I shared my art with you, so there you go. But this is, if you're wondering which is the favorite one that I have done, it is the picture of Karen Karsten. Is still my favorite shot. Okay, I'm going to, I love this side, right? Don't confuse movement with progress. A question to ask is, am I busy on a task or am I just getting something done? That's a brilliant piece, a lot. So let me open it up. How many of you picked up on the concept of success as a coping mechanism? Right? Changes the perspective, doesn't it? That building ways for you to see that you are progressing is going to be a huge tool, right? So that's why I like listing it. That's why I like kind of being able to see what you've already created. Okay, let's do a quick round robin. That I gave you a lot of content today again. Okay, what are you taking away? I'm going to start with you, Rebecca Mundall. What are you taking away with you today?
I have a great list of homework of things to do that are going to be really helpful.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. Fatun Ali, what are you taking away?
Trying to build how I can be calm when a client, I'm a pleaser. So if they don't, they're not happy with something, I get anxious or nervous and all of that. So trying to find a way to deal with that.
Yeah, I like that. And that may be giving yourself another way to measure giving pleasure. And that may be something as simple as what I have, it actually came from a dentist, where when they get done with their service, they literally just take a minute and look at their client and they say, I like your smile. Right? So that they can kind of complete to go, let me see that. Let's close this in a happy way. I'm glad we could spend this time together. This time has been important to me, right? Finding some way to close the scenario out so that you can feel that you have done that you've pleased someone. Lisa, what are you walking away with? Oh, maybe she's not in there. Lisa, are you there? Okay, I'm moving up to Alice. What are you walking away with?
This was a great session, and I'm walking away with focus on the outcome more and not so much of the tactical stuff that gets you there, but focus on the outcome. And that your mind needs to be rewarded. You need to reward your mind. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, good. Donna, what are you taking away?
Well, it's good stuff, Mickey, for sure. I mean, there's just so much, but making a list of the accomplishments. Like, my God, I've just come so far and I've done so much. If I just need, I'm gonna paint it. I've been taking a painting class, and I'm gonna paint my accomplishments, and I'm gonna post it like a picture on my wall. And like you say, just to make the movie change the movie in my head.
What I really like about that painting piece, and I think everybody can kind of pick up on that, is again, giving it a visual. If you've ever looked at somebody who's put a bunch of statistics together in a newspaper article, and suddenly you can see the problem very differently, that visual representation of things that you've already created or done makes you be able to take in a fuller picture of where you are or what is already done. And then again, right, your mind will automatically feel as though it's halfway through a process and it's not starting something new, right? It will automatically give it tools to be able to build differently or more completely. It's so good. So I love that visual representation of a painting. For those of you who like sticky boards and things like that, is just really representing to be able to see what is done and what isn't done. Especially for those of you who have lots of components. A lot of you have different businesses that you're running at the same time. Just go, look, this is what's done on all of these. Oh, wait, I see the missing piece. So
I was just going to say, just as you were speaking, Mickey, I was like, I think I start every day. I mean, I do the gratitude stuff and the prayer stuff, but I always feel like I'm starting from 0 miles an hour. And that's just partly my nature in the morning. And I think that list of things, I mean, I'm on a train that is moving. If I just really reframe it as I'm in a sleeper car on a train that is moving, that right there is like, well, that's different than I'm already moving 80 miles an hour from the stuff I've set up. That's a different movie plot right there.
Right. I love that. Okay, Michelle Berg, what are you taking away?
Well, I have a new list of 10 small things.
Yeah.
Things.
I'll do a little Cabbage Patch on that one too.
Yeah, and put a nice little do something with it so that it's easy to access and remind myself. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe put it on a.
Okay, what was on your 10? Can you share? Would you share?
Sure. Shower, breakfast, pet time.
Yep.
Check social media, check email, my task list, questions, which is a process that I use. I call it the one thing. So one thing I'm excited to do, one thing I've been putting off, one thing that'll make me money, one thing that has a hard deadline. So that there's a mix of every day things that I need to get done, whether I'm excited about them or not, and things that bring me joy. Clean something, sort through something, purge something, whatever, and then come up with an outcome for the day at the start of the day, and then some coloring, drawing, one of those things.
Love it. Love it. Good job. Okay, Danny, what are you taking away? And then Billy, we're coming up to you.
That, I often feel like I failed because I didn't go to college. I haven't started a business really yet. But I need to remind myself that there are a lot of things that I have done, that I'm here because I did those things.
Right.
And there are a couple of people who have now turned the tables on me. One of my favorite things to say to a lot of my friends when they have a birthday is, congratulations, you made it this far. And I get that a lot now.
Right. Right. You made it this far.
Sometimes I need to remind myself to be Madeline, where when the world is, acting like a tiger and wants to eat me, I just need to, poo-poo. It's fine. You're behind the bars. That's fine.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay, Lisa, what are you taking away?
For me, I'm taking away as far as that, like the outcome part, and really strategizing the final outcome versus the steps to get to the outcome.
That if you just walk away with that you just won. If you have not looked up RPM, I'm going to put it in there. It's called the rapid planning method, and it's with Tony Robbins.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's really it. Okay, Billy, what are you walking away with today?
I'm walking away with just getting started, do the task that I've been putting off. I have the Excel spreadsheet of startup cost, of operating cost. I have the cash flow templates. It's just a matter of reaching out to probably the SBDC and getting an appointment set up and just doing it and stop avoiding it. And I tend to, in my head, I think I'm multitasking, so I might be doing 10 projects simultaneously, and that's a huge distraction from getting the one important thing done. So I think I need to kind of clear some things off my calendar and off my plate and really focus on, what's most important and what's at the forefront.
Right, right. And going back to Andrew's point, right? Don't confuse movement with progress. Right? I love that. I love
exactly.
that. Okay. Marie, give us what are you taking away? We're so glad to see you again, by the way.
Thanks. So many things. Karen, that was a good reminder about morning pages. I did those a long time ago and had some really good insights. So many. Make a list of successes. Reframing shitty experiences. Understanding the outcome, I think, is really just a nice, concise way of doing that motivation. The 5-second rule, I thought of the 5-second rule about that, the Mel Robbins.
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so anyway, that was a good reminder for that as well. Reprogramming my brain to ask a different question. Why did this come up? To really get to the bottom. I'm going to do some time blocking, which is something that I've wanted to do for many, many years. And I'm going to use some 28-minute time blocks. I have so many different emails, and I'm so sick of deleting so many, and I'm kind of freaked out about deleting some of them because I've been told that if you actually unsubscribe, then that tells them you're an actual person that reads their emails, and so then they give you even more. Anyway, so just a lot of really good things. So yeah, really glad to be here.
Good job. Good job. Okay, Jamie, what are you walking away with today? Right, she's running across the kitchen.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm baking and doing her business.
Right, because I'll have mad girlfriends if they can't have sangria and margaritas and stuff when they get here in a couple of hours.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, it's Cinco de Mayo today.
Oh, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Yes, Lisa's one that's coming. So, see, she's waiting on happy hour. But what I'm taking away the most is just furthering on what I already kind of started with Mickey, because we started talking about the trauma. I have my businesses in 4 quadrants and I spend just the time on those. I was feeling very overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I need to do. And I just have resolved to being like, and I'm going to keep resolving to be like, I'm not going to finish all this shit. There's no way, probably not even in my lifetime. But if there's every day, there's something that's moving me towards something else, usually then by the end of the month or the end of the week, I've actually accomplished everything on the list. So just to continue to be giving my 28 minutes to these 4 different tasks, and then also to myself personally. And then honestly, like, my trauma is very deep. So every Tuesday, me and Cedric Witherspoon are on the phone talking through some of that through therapy, and just realizing that I think that a lot of times we think like trauma doesn't have anything to, or doesn't relate, until my conversation with Mickey, like, how does that relate to my business? Or how does that relate to, like, how is this hindering me from doing this? And just that realization. And once that kind of wake up on, it's made me not feel so stressed about things that aren't done, or to not feel like a failure because they're not done, and just really rewarding with. And I love stickers as a kid, so my boards have stickers all the way over them. Actually, my vision board is now, like, as I'm putting things and happening, those also get a big smiley face on them too. So I love the
good idea.
I love the rewards as a kid. I've responded very well to, with every action becomes a reaction. And so every time we had an action, and my mom even taught that, like, we didn't get allowance, but because our house was clean or because we did our chores, there was always something positive that we got from that. And in school and stuff in that same type of way. And so when you achieve at this type of thing, so just taking it back to that thought process and putting my smiley faces on my vision boards as those finish up, it's just kind of like, oh, and then I'm like, I walk by and I'm like, the days that I'm not feeling the best, then it's like, oh, then I'm smiling at my because the stickers make me giggle, whether they're online or not, then I giggle at them. And then all of a sudden, however I was feeling, I pretty much have forgotten that. So just to continue that is what I take away.
I love it. I love it. Okay. We are at 11 o'clock, but I think we have 2 people yet to take away. Can we just do you guys quick? I think it's Janet. We haven't done you and Sharaine. Is that right? Give us your takeaways.
Okay, I'll go really quick. Number one, thank you guys for having me, and I definitely will be at the next meeting.
Come to the next meeting.
Absolutely. So the biggest takeaway that I got outside of stop avoiding tasks that cause stress is just changing the question in your mind. My grandma told me when I was very young, the worst someone can ever tell you is no. And I was always fearful of that word, rejection. And so when I started my own business and just in life, I've always taken that mentality of the worst this person can tell me is no, meaning if I leave out of here with nothing, then I'm the same person that walked in. So I always, if I have clients that I know will probably tell me no, I use those opportunities to practice and try to get a yes. And even if I don't get a yes, the next client that I talk to who gives me that no, I already know how to combat it and give different scenarios or ways to get the business. And so that's one thing I encourage everybody. So to those who feel like, calling that client to get that business, or if you lost business and you want to try to get it back, the literally worst thing they can tell you is no. And you already had the no before you made the phone call. So why not try to make the call?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I can't believe that didn't come out of Andrew. That's such an Andrew statement. Say it again. Say it again.
That's why me and Sharaine get along. It was one of the first things we both said in unison, is that it was a no before you started.
Right.
Yeah.
So why not ask them? It was a no without you asking. So if you ask and they say no, it was already a damn no at the first time.
Your
But
day
if
didn't
by
change.
chance they say yes, if by chance they say yes,
Yeah. Wow. That
Good day.
that was my gift from you. That was your gift to me. What a gem. Okay, Janet Mills. Andrew, did we get your one thing? Okay, all right, Janet, then Andrew.
Okay. I liked hearing the hashtags and realizing I was living some of them and swapping them for the outcomes and the 10 tiny tasks. So I think that that'll help. And you really brought it with the content, Mickey. And I also, it's meant a lot to meet all you and see you again. So
Yeah, it's so good to have everybody here. Andrew, give us your takeaway.
All right. Mine, two things for me. One is majority of my stress is self-imposed. So as long as I keep myself in a good mindset and realize that, what am I really stressing about? Well, my goals that I created, me trying to keep up with Jones with someone else, it's all basically on me. So long as I just try to keep that in proper perspective, that helps. And also too, just making sure I laugh every day, especially coming out of a pandemic, quarantine. I do miss people. I do have 2 face-to-face meetings today. I'm actually super excited about, and then I get my second vaccine shot, so I already got like more face-to-face meetings coming up. But that's having that, making sure it laugh on it, because then it just eases the stress, eases the tension, and then it makes phone calls easier. It makes everything a little easier just in a proper mindset. So those are my 2 things.
Good. Karen Carson, are you taking anything away today?
I am. I'm going to go out and buy a bunch of stickers.
Right.
And I
just
I like vision boards as well. I like the visual part. So I do just small ones because I have not much space here. So then I tape them all together. So so you have something to concentrate on. So this is what I'm concentrating on here. This for you.
My favorite. My favorite.
But there's so many things. I mean, no matter where you are in life, all of them pertain. And that's it. I mean, I like having something to look forward to every day. So I do.
Good.
Many
Okay, well,
things.
here's what I would like you all to take away. One, this is so much more fun when we're all together. So keep coming, right? For those of you who are new, or those of you who dropped back in or whatever, it's way more fun to be here together. The second thing I want you to take away is exactly what Alice had pointed out. It's that we often see these as little bits, that we don't actually realize that it's one bigger thing, right? That it's really trauma, and we've got to get to that. It's not just this avoidance and this and this and this and this. It's really under this bigger umbrella called chronic trauma. And a lot of you have chronic trauma based on a lot of micro traumas. So really focusing in on those small things that are still eating at you, that are on the bottom half of the cup, that you can start discharging. And then the other part of that is again, the coping mechanism. I have to program. If I were going to do one more class on this topic, it probably would have been on reframing your coping mechanisms to mechanisms of success, because that's not what anyone teaches ever, ever, ever. But that is actually the only way to work it through in business, is to keep giving you the tools that let you know that you are moving forward, that you are successful, that it is working, and you need to go moving forward. Not just assessing for no reason, but because this is a coping mechanism that actually heals and discharges trauma in your conscious mind. Because your conscious mind is always programming, not enough, not enough, not enough, too much, right? And you need to start programming it with those coping skills, with those stickers, with that whatever I have done, because then it has the tools to be able to add it up. Thinking through cotton is often because it can't figure out all the pieces, that it doesn't know where to start. It can't gel it. So again, if I can have you leave with anything, it would be to reprogram the coping mechanisms to success. Okay. Any final questions for me?
I don't have any final questions, Mickey, but I do have, I want to say goodbye to everyone and thank you for coming. I tell you that the Zoom part has been traumatic for Mickey at first, but getting better. And I really love that we have people from everywhere now that wouldn't be able to come if we were in person. And so I really appreciate you all showing up, and you will have a link to this session probably day after tomorrow or tomorrow, but I will send the chat right away because they send me the chat right away. So
Good, good.
Thanks for being
Okay.
here.
All right. And then, hey, Marie Mariam that has asked Michelle to quick put in the one things again. So if you didn't catch that in the chat, Michelle, that's for you. If you have any other stuff to add into the chat over the next few minutes, please do, because I think the chat is super helpful, super helpful. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time together. I always treasure our time together. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. I wish I could go to
Bye.
Jamien's for that
Thank
sangria.
you.
Yeah.
Great.
Me too.
Thanks, Mickey.
You should send me the picture of what that late night sangria is going to look like.
Yeah.
You have now. Here's a random question, Jamie. Now, do you just feel how it's going to be for that sangria, or do you have a recipe?
The ancestors talk to me when I cook, just so that you know, and they can come through my fingers. I grew up learning how to cook on a stove that didn't have numbers or degrees on them, non-measurement things. So that's how I've always saying. I have some things that are recipe, but the sangria is off my head.
Yeah.
And I just know the ancestors tell me how drunk I need my people to be.
There you go. There you
What's
go.
the Cinco de Mayo? What are you making for food?
I made poblano cream salsa. I made pineapple salsa and regular salsa, guacamole. I'm making fresh refried beans and carne asada, shrimp, pulled chicken, and fresh homemade tortilla shells.
Wow.
Wow.
That's gonna be great.
Lisa, you're so
That
lucky.
sounds amazing.
and tres leches cake.
Oh, no. That's my favorite.
Yes.
She's my favorite local as well friend. So I'm like one of her tasters, clients. It's like, you know, I'm also a member of the Jamie fan club. So yeah.
Right.
Sign me
It's
up.
so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah, being here has been a godsend of being here, just finding new friends and stuff. I wanted to show you guys one other thing. So every year for my birthday, you see this board?
Yeah.
It has a J on it. So whoever joins me in my birthday dinner, I want to take them with the year. And I asked them to just write me a word. And I put it up on my wall and I keep it all year long. And I look at it and it's just like words of encouragement.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I also have a wall. I'm just now about to put these up where people who celebrate the new year with me too, I have them write their favorite cuss word. and here they are from this new year, all of them. And then I hang those on my wall too. It's my frustration board and my love board. So I kind of, by the time I've looked through all of those, things are better.
Yeah. Now I have to tell you, I can tell you right now that Michelle Berg is taking note of that birthday. I can just see her face light up to go, well, I am doing that. I am doing that. Okay. Well, once again, I thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. And I'll see you next month. Do you know what the topic is next month off the top of your head? I don't remember it.
No, you didn't send it to me.
Oh, I haven't
so
sent it.
I don't know. I
There's
can't.
my
I can't do it if I don't know it.
We
All
get
right.
to know because it's a bonus thing for us because we're still on, so we get to know what the topic is for next.
Right. I'm gonna have to look it up. Look it up. No, but I will get it out today. I promise. I'm there. This class was one of the biggest ones that I've been waiting to do. So I'm glad it went well. I'm glad that you enjoyed it because I worked on it a long time. So
It hit the mark.
it hit the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, trauma's a trip, man.
It propelled us. It propelled me, I should say.
Right. Right. Well, I feel like we could have done a 6-hour thing on business trauma. I mean, we could have gone in on it for long, but I think the shorter version just kind of helps you move it.
Oh, are you avoiding telling us?
About what next month is? No, I don't know it. I have to look it up.
Oh.
I'm not in the.
She said
No,
she'll send it today.
I'll send it today.
We're not going to stay on all day, Karen. So
Yeah.
Okay.
we're
Do you want to put that in? You want to put that in the chat, Mickey, that you'll do it today so that I have it in writing?
Oh, I'll do it today.
I came up with a question, Mickey, and that would be techniques for discharging.
Oh, you know what? Yes, again, you have to change your conscious mind. Your conscious mind has to believe that we are good now.
Okay.
So again,
Santa Claus that.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, so it's easier to Santa Claus it, to just be like, look, going on Alice's words, right? This is who I am now. But it's really the Santa Clausing just means that you are good. That the very basis of what is here starts at good. That you are a good person. That this is a precious life. You are living it. It is magnanimous and weird and fantastic. And you are not expected to do it alone.
Positive self-talk.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. And processing it so that your brain can know, oh, I'm not that anymore. Oh, that's not the way it is anymore. Oh, okay. So if we were going to look for somebody who has dysmorphia about their body, right? That somebody who used to be heavy, they still only see a heavy person in the mirror, right? So that dysmorphia, we frequently have dysmorphia on the things that we have failed at, right? So you have to go, look, that's actually not my goal anymore. To kind of change it and start looking in the mirror at what is really present now, not what is this figure that you had of who you were. And getting that conscious mind to go, oh, it doesn't work. It's not there anymore.
Can I give you an example on that?
Oh, totally.
So when I was in high school, I was told I'd never be in any position where I would have to type for a living, like at all. Don't do it. You can't type. And I had to take a practice typing test because I take one on Monday. And I type 110 words a minute.
Wow.
What? So from high school, where I was typing maybe 20 words a minute, I now key 110 a minute.
Right.
That's crazy fast.
First of all, wow.
Yeah.
Secondly, right, way to reposition it, right? To go, let me fact check. And that's what I also like about when you're in that place of like when trauma is really big and it's heating up and it's kind of crashing down on you. It is so helpful to just take a second and fact check. To go, oh, wait, no, I'm not that. Yeah, really well. Okay, Billy, we're glad you joined us.
Bye, Billy. Bye.
Welcome to the group.
Alice, bye, Mary. Bye.
Hope to see you next time.
Thank you. Will there be an email for the next meeting, Mickey?
Yeah, if you, how don't you get in on this one?
Facebook, but I'm not on there as much.
Okay.
I'm
If you
trying to
type
stay.
in
Yeah.
your thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you already do it and I missed it? Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.